אנחנו מאמינים בני מאמינים, אנחנו מאמינים בני מאמינים, ואין לנו עמים להישואל, ואין לנו עמים להישואל, אוי אלו אלו על אבינו, אלו אלו על אבינו, אבינו שבשמיים, אנחנו מאמינים בני מאמינים, ואין לנו עמים להישואל.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Boker Tov. We're going to go ahead and start with a word of prayer as we get into our lesson today. Avinu Malkeinu, our Father and our King, we thank you, Lord God, for your students here that are ready with their eyes open, ears to hear and eyes to see, Lord God. We thank you for their hearts that are ready to receive, Lord God, the Shabbat Nach today, as we've been learning about the Shabbat Nah, the different Shabbats in Hebrew. In the Hebrew tongue, and we just pray, Lord God, you give them a quick understanding and ability to grasp the concept this morning, and especially to be able to speak the holy tongue, Ivrit, Lashon HaKodesh. In Yeshua's name we pray, B'Shem Yeshua, Amen.
Amen.
All right, so we've been learning about some of the basics. We'll go through some of those basics in a second, and then we'll look at the Shabbat Nach today. Okay, let's start with an Aleph Beit. Remember, 5 letters at a time, short breath. Next 5 until you get to the last 2, making 22 letters. Okay? 1, 2, 3.
Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud. Kav, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech. Ayin, Pei, Sadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tav.
Tov Me'od. Alright? Now, our vowel sounds. We know we have 5 vowels, but basically we're just sounding out the sounds. The A, E, I, O, and U are pronounced A, E, I, O, U. So let me just hear you say that one time through. 1, 2, 3.
A, E, I, O, U.
All right, so one more time for our visitors.
A, E, I, O, U.
And just to lock it in, good for the day, one more time.
A, E, I, O, U.
Tov Me'od, very good. Metzuyan. Excellent. All right, so we try to avoid any extra sidebar conversations. We are recording. Okay, so we've been learning about the 22 Hebrew letters. So how many consonant letters are there? 22. So how many of them can be prefixes?
11.
11 of them. So half of them can be prefixes. What do we mean by a prefix?
Before the word.
It's prefixed to the beginning of the word. It's before the word. So referring to going before the word. So one letter can be put in front of a word and refer to a whole word, or like a preposition or a definite article, and we'll look at examples of that. Then we have how many vowels? 5 vowels. How many vowel indicators do we have?
5.
5 vowel indicators. That means letters that if you didn't have any dots and dashes under a letter to know how to sound it, which are like the training wheels in Hebrew, these letters would indicate there's a vowel present most of the time, or there can be a possible vowel there. Okay? And then how many gutturals do we have? 5 gutturals. And the gutturals originally all had a different sound at one time. In fact, most of them are guttural because they're in the back of the throat. Like usually Ein was Ein. You know, on the back of the throat. Het, you have to pronounce in the back of the throat. So those vowel indicators would be the first Aleph, then the letter what? Hey, Vav, Yud, and Ayin. Okay, so notice we have some of the same letters that are gutturals. So we have Aleph, we'll put Hey, we'll put Het, Ayin, and Resh. Okay. So these letters, again, you know, they're out of your order if you're just barely learning Hebrew, but just know you'll get familiar with the fact that these are considered gutturals. Okay. For instance, the gutturals we learned don't take a dagesh. What is the dagesh? A little dot. Now, the interesting thing is there is one time where you see a dagesh in the letter hey at the end of a word, and that's to force you to pronounce an extra sound or hey sound of the letter for a feminine suffix, but we won't get into that right now. Okay. We also found that we had a special rule for 6 letters that we give an acronym Beged Kefat. And I've also said Bagad Kefat or Beged Kefat. Pretty much it doesn't matter how you want to say it as long as you have these basic sounds. So what letters would those be? For Beged, we're taking the capital letters. It's the letter Beit,
Camel.
Gimel, Dalet, and then the next 3,
Kuf.
Kaf, and Hey or Fei, and then the Tav. It used to be that all these letters, all 6 of these, when there was a dagesh in the center, the sound was strengthened. We'll have a formal lesson on dagesh coming soon, but they were strengthened. Now we know that the dagesh and the letter Beit gives it a strong B sound. If it's removed, it gets a V sound, a softened B. Question?
Do we also have 5 suffix?
Yes. Yeah, we'll touch that in a second. Okay, so thank you. So then we have the Dalet doesn't change today, but it used to be a softer D sound. And you can actually detect that when you say Adam versus David. The dagesh is in the first letter of his name, David, versus the last letter does not have a dagesh. So David would have a strong D in the beginning and a soft D at the end. Okay? So the ones that are most obvious in the change would be the letter Beit, the letter Kaf, without the dagesh it's Chaf, and the letter Pei, which would be Fei. Okay? Tav, Ashkenazi, they would change it to an S, Saf. So Shabbat Shalom would become Shabbos. Shabbos. Again, that's Ashkenazi, kind of really the basis for a lot of Yiddish terms. Okay, so in this case, these 3 letters definitely change, but it used to be like the Gimel would be Gimel, Gimel, instead of Gimel. So it was a softer G. Sagol is actually Sagol. It's like a GH sound without the dagesh. There's no strength to it. The dagesh strengthens it, makes it forte, makes it strong. Okay? So we were just reminded that we also do have 5 final letters. That means 5 letters look different at the end of a word. Okay? For right now, we're not going to go into that. We're going to kind of review. If you have the page for the Shivana, let's quickly review that. Shivana. Now, this is what we need to understand about vowels. There are 5 vowel sounds, but there are different ways to make a long and what I like to call medium, short, or reduced vowel sound. Okay? So, there are 5 vowels, but the A, E, I, O, U, this way. E, O, and U. We're not going to go into the vowels right now, but you know we've extensively done vowels. The dots and dashes, like a typical line that you would see underneath a letter, indicates an A sound, while multiple dots make an S sound as in eggs. So most of the time, if you see multiple dots on a letter, you already know it is an E vowel pronounced E. Okay, so if you see multiple dots underneath the letter, you sound the letter, and then the dot under the dots would give you an E sound. So for instance, if I look at the E vowel, we know we just have one dot, either followed by the letter Yud or just one dot. So the word Mishnah would be spelled like this. okay, for the first syllable. And then we'd have a kamatz underneath the third letter. So, when you're looking at Hebrew, how do we read Hebrew?
Right to
Right to
left.
left.
Yes, we read it right to left,
One letter.
but we read it one letter at a time. What is that one letter? One of the 22 consonants, okay? So, one letter at a time, what's this first letter? If you were to look on your Hebrew list there, what's this letter here?
Mem.
Mem. So what sound do you get out of the mem? M, as in M. It's an M, basically, in English. So if I'm writing this out, I put an M here. Don't forget, we need new black pens. M here, okay? And so, what vowel is underneath? The one dot
There is
is an I vowel, pronounced E. So, I, E, O, U, the I vowel is pronounced E, but I'm going to put an I because that's what it is. It's an I vowel. So I have me so far, and which happens to be a medium or shorter vowel versus the longest form. So, if it's a short vowel, it's going to close, the shabbat is going to close out the syllable. Okay? So what we have, to make a syllable, you need a consonant plus a what? Vowel. And if there's a consonant plus a vowel, it is an open syllable. What happens if I have a consonant plus a vowel plus another consonant?
Close.
It's a closed syllable. So shalom, the first syllable is what?
Open.
Good. What is it? Pronounce it for me.
Shah.
Sha. Everybody do that. Sha. Do it again. Sha. Your mouth stays what? Open. What about lom? L-O-M. Closed. Because I have a consonant plus a vowel plus a consonant. L-O-M. Shalom. It's called a closed syllable. So in shalom, there are two syllables. The first one is open. Open. You pronounce it again. Sha. Your mouth stays open. But when I add that extra consonant for the second syllable, it's closed. Lom. So say it together. Shalom. First one is open, second one is closed. Okay? Now, in shalom, there is a long vowel. So the first syllable looks like this. Sha. If it's a long vowel, we don't need another consonant. It's a syllable all by itself. So if you want to keep it open, you put a long vowel to keep it open. So it stays sha. Because if you shorten the vowel, you're shutting the mouth. So the moment you shorten the vowel, you're shutting your mouth quicker, correct? If I say come, stop. I'm a choir director, and I do this, wrap it up. I'm saying cut the sound off. That's basically bringing it to a glottal stop in your sound. So when I say meatloaf, right, in English, meatloaf, you can actually spell that in Hebrew, meatloaf. There's no vowel between the T and the L. That is a glottal stop. Meat-loaf. You don't see meatloaf unless you're Italiano. You say, I like a meatloaf, please. You know, you put an extra vowel on everything. Can you get to me? No, I won't tell the joke about that. We got the Sicilian that goes to Malta. I won't tell that joke. So, now you'll Google it, I'm sure. So, basically, you have a long vowel for the a long vowel for an open syllable. So the vowel is going to be long. Okay. When you have a closed syllable, the vowel is usually shortened. So what you have is a consonant plus a short vowel closes the vowel. Okay? So you have to have another consonant to close it out, but there's usually going to be a short vowel in between. So, for instance, here you have a short vowel. It's not long because it's not followed by the yud. Okay? So here we have mish is one syllable. Mish. Mish. This is a closed syllable. Why is it closed?
Because
already you see two what?
Constant.
Two consonants. An open syllable is only going to have one consonant. One consonant plus a vowel is open. One consonant plus a long vowel is open. A consonant plus a short vowel needs another consonant because it's shutting the door, and it's going to have a shabbat. Okay? So this is one of the lessons we see about the silent shabbat. Okay? Mish, and then how do you pronounce these last letters?
No.
No.
So we have new pin, please. Mish. Now, what's the Mishnah? It's basically Jewish commentary on the Torah.
Oh.
The rabbis have made their comments on the Torah, and they've been pulled all together like the famous Rabbi Shammai and Rabbi Hillel. Their words and thoughts are all put in there in the Mishnah, part of the Talmud. Okay? So now, here we have the first word here. Now, before we go any further, I want to review the Sheba Na. What does the word Na mean? Moving. The Sheba Na is moving. So what we learned the last 2 weeks was about the Sheba Na. The Sheba Na is moving, a moving Sheba, and it means that it's pronounced and not blended with the preceding letter. So if it continues moving, or it sounds, we could say, the moving Sheba is a sounding Sheba. Okay? The ways to know it is by this mnemonic, Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. These 5 letters are going to remind us of the 5 rules. Okay? So the Aleph is what? The first letter of the alphabet. If the Sheba is under the first letter, do we sound it or keep it silent?
First letter?
No, this is Sheba Na. So if we have a Sheba underneath the first letter, it's always vocal. It's sounded. It's never silent. You have to sound the Sheba under the first letter. So if I give you a new pin, if I give you this word that we say every week in Deuteronomy 6:4, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. The Shema will go underneath the first letter. Right? Okay? Shema. So here we have the first letter here, the Sheba has to be sounded. Shema, Shema, Shema. I know it sounds like one syllable, Shema, but it's really Shema. Shema Yisrael, Shema, Shema. Okay? If there's 2 Shebas, as in the second letter Beit, the second Sheba is sounded because the first one's silent. Okay? So, let's think of what was our example last week we used. Oh, we used in the prayer also, Nafshecha. That is gone.
What pretty colors.
Remember what this word is? Okay. So the second rule is for the letter Beit, which is the second letter in Hebrew. If you have 2 Shebas in the middle of the word, side by side, the first one's silent, the second one is sounded. So this one rests, this one moves. Okay? So what we're going to have is Naf Shecha. What does Naf Shecha mean? Your soul. So what do we say that in? Again, the Shema. So it's specifically in the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha. So nafshecha. It's not. Well, I don't know how you pronounce it any other way. You'd have to pronounce it next to Shabbat. Because how do you silence 2 letters? I can't. I'm forced to give that other letter a sound in the Shema. Because how do I sound out two of them? I just have to say nafsh. Oh no, nafsh. Nafsh. That's what it would end up being. Nafshcha. Nafshcha. That only works at the end of a word. Okay? But if it's in the middle of the word, the first one is silent, the second one is silent. Always. Always, always, always. Okay? So letter bait was for two Shabas, the second one is sounded. Okay? The Gedolah, the Gimel, what does the Gimel stand for? What does Gedolah mean? Like Gadol?
Appearing directly after the two
It
now.
means big, large. So this is referring to the vowel, the te'una gadol. Okay? So if there is a long vowel, you sound it. So what we found out, just the opposite. If it's a short vowel, you don't sound it. First letter, short vowel, shava comes after, don't sound. Long vowel, then a shava, it gets sounded because it's its own syllable. So then the next letter has to get its own consonant and vowel. Okay, so it's going to get a sounded vowel called a shava. Shava na. Okay. And then, of course, we have the dagesh. Shava under a letter with a dagesh is a shava na. It gets sounded. And also, if there's two letters, as in hineni or hallelu, hallelujah or hallelu, these words, two double letters like that, the shava is a shava na. So again, that's kind of a review from last week. But what we want to look at this week is the number one rule here. The number one rule for the silent shava is if it's preceded by a short vowel, it is silent. Okay? If it's preceded by a short vowel, which means it is a shava that closes out a syllable. I'll give you a formal list of rules next week. But if it closes out a syllable, it's a shava nach, silent. Also, if it's at the end of a word. So if it's at the end of a syllable, it's silent. If it's at the end of a word, it's silent. Okay? If it's in the middle of a word also by itself, it's silent. So if we wrote the rules down, if it is, what was the first one I gave you?
Sounded by a short vowel.
Okay, let's just say end of word is one rule. End of syllable. And also middle of word by itself. Okay. So what would be some, what are the other two examples I have? Let me just make some room here so you don't get confused. Not that you're not already confused. Let's see what these words are, these two words here. This is in our name. What'd you say the name is?
Simha.
Simcha. Simcha. What does simcha mean?
Joyful.
Joy. Okay, now this is not our name exactly. Our name is in a construct form. I would have to change this to a tav to make simchat. For years though, we were simcha Yeshua because whoever named the congregation didn't know proper Hebrew. So they gave the word joy and they gave the word Yeshua. They stuck the two together, thought, oh, that's fine. No, you have to say joy of Yeshua, put it in a construct state. The H, the hey, would change to a T, a tav, and be simchat, as in simchat Torah. Simchat Torah is the joy of the Torah, when the scroll is rolled back to Genesis at the end of the High Holy Days. Okay? So, this is simcha, joy, by itself. What do you think the vowels should be underneath there? Take the model of our first example. Okay, so here, one dot should go underneath here because we have sim. So here we have S, and we have I, right?
And the seam dot.
Okay, and then I already gave you the red line showing you a break in syllables, right? So what are we gonna have here? Shva. So we're gonna have mem, and Shaba. So Mem and Shaba. So what do we have here, open or closed?
Close.
Closed syllable.
Close.
Okay, so what was in one of our rules? When a Shaba is the end of a syllable, it's silent. So we don't pronounce the E sound on that. We don't say Sime. Ha. We say Sim or Simcha.
Right.
Simcha. Okay. So this is Simcha. Okay, so now what do we do with these last two letters? What are these last two letters in Hebrew?
Het.
Het and He. So what do you think we're going to get for Ha?
Kamatz.
Ha. Kamatz. Okay? Put a kamatz here. It's the same exact example, isn't it?
Yep.
Mishna Simcha. I get a little Simcha over the Mishnah.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, let's do the next one. So we have Simcha. Again, if you wanted joy of, it'd be Simchat with a T at the end. What's this next set of letters? Does anybody see the root letters?
Yeah.
The Lamed, the Mem, Dalet is the root for to learn or to teach. So, this is some word in reference to learning and teaching.
Yeah. Talmud. Talmud.
Talmid.
Now.
Okay, so we have Tal. Okay, short vowel. We have a Shaba, Tal. So we have T-A-L, Tal. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
There's a Tav, that's a T. That's a line. You know, any lines is usually going to be an A vowel or pronounced A. So we have so far Tav. And then we have a Lamed, which is an L, obviously the Lamed, L, right? And we have a Shaba underneath it. That brings us to a glottal stop, and it's the end of a syllable. Therefore, it is silent. So all we have is Tal will indicate the Shaba by the little apostrophe in the air.
Yeah.
Tal. And then what we'll have is Tal lead. Okay. So we have an example of that. I stand corrected on that. There is a vowel, a long vowel here. It doesn't change anything except for the spelling is fuller. So this would actually be a long I here. It doesn't change any of the rule though, because the rule was about the Shaba. So this is the second. So Talmid would be, you need the Yud in there. Talmid. Just makes the E, it just makes it longer. Okay. Talmid. Because if without it, it'd probably be Talmid. Talmid. Because remember, two medium length vowels, you're going to lean on the first one. So to make it lean on the second, you need a long vowel here, Talmid. So we have student. Okay. Any question about when it's silent?
No.
End of a word, end of a syllable, middle of the word by itself. And then there's one more.
Second.
And you have two Shabas at the end. There's two of them. So if it was a word, like we had the example, I think. But basically, it looks like an English word, aunt. Right? The N and the T, they're both silent at the end of it. The two Shabas are at the end of the word. In this case, they're in the middle of the word. Right? If they're at the end of the word, it's silent. Okay. All right. Any questions before we close the prayer? I know the Shaba is probably one of the most difficult things to learn how to understand, to know, and embrace, but you have to practice. That means you need to find words that have the Shaba, and next week I'm going to quiz you. Actually make you, the first part of the class, we're actually going to go through a little quiz and see what answers we get. I'm going to give you various Shabas, and you're going to have to figure out which rule works with it. Some of you organically will just start picking up on it, but you might have a Shaba at the beginning of the word, with the first letter. You might have a Shaba on the second letter, second and third letter. You might have a Shaba on the last two letters of a word. So you're going to have to know the rule. What is the rule for the Shema? Okay, when it sounds and when it's silent. Yes.
Will we be doing both the Shabana and the Shabana?
I'm going to mix them up, give them both to you. Because I'm hoping that all of this has sunk in, but it will take some practice. Okay. Any other questions? Again, if you're new, don't be surprised if you're overwhelmed. It's just because you're hearing a lot of new principles. They have been learning this week after week after week, so hopefully it's taking a little bit. Okay. Let's close in prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, our Father and our King, we thank you, Lord God, for the Shema and the Shabana. And Father, we pray, Lord God, that you will bless this lesson that we've learned. And next week, as we get quizzed on these two, we pray that you would just empower the students by the Holy Spirit to be able to bring all things back to their remembrance. Father, I pray also as we learn about the furtive patach, Lord God, that you will give us an understanding in words like Mashiach and Luach and Ruach and words that have that extra furtive sound at the end of the patach. We pray, Lord God, that you will bless these students, give them an understanding even when they worship today, when they pray today in Hebrew, and all the things that they're going to be doing, especially for Bar and Bat Mitzvah training today. We pray you bless their ears, their eyes, and their heart in Yeshua's name. Amen. God bless you. Shavua Tov.
May the Lord bless you and keep you, and make his face to shine upon you, and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you. May the Lord grant you his peace. Yivarechecha Adonai, v'yishmerecha, Ya'eh Adonai, panav elecha v'hunecha, Yisa Adonai, panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and make his face to shine upon you, and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you. May the Lord grant you his peace. Yivarechecha Adonai, v'yishmerecha, Ya'eh Adonai, panav elecha v'hunecha, Yisa Adonai, panav elecha v'yaseh lecha shalom.